So you're waking up every morning tired, fatigued, knowing that something's wrong with your body, but you're not quite sure. Maybe you even have thick hair growth on your chin. Maybe you're not getting your period every month. Maybe you haven't gotten your period since the first time that you bled. Maybe you suffer from PMS, and every time that you're approaching your period, you start getting horrible cramps. So if any of these examples are you, then you've come to the right video, because today I'm going to break down the menstrual cycle so that you can understand it in the simplest way possible. Women's health should not be so complicated, and unfortunately, so many times we're told that our hormonal imbalances are just part of being a woman, that our painful periods are just part of being a woman, and deep down we know that this is not it. Consider this the only video that you need so that you can finally understand exactly how your menstrual cycle works. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is why women and men run on different hormonal cycles. So in case you didn't know, men run on a 24-hour hormonal cycle where their main hormone, testosterone, rises and falls in the exact same way every day. Men have high levels of testosterone in the morning, and then they start decreasing as the night approaches. Women, on the other hand, we run on a 28 to 34 day hormonal cycle with different fluctuations of our main hormones like estrogen and progesterone and even testosterone throughout the month. A woman and a man are two different human beings. Obviously, it's reflected in our hormones. So understanding that women and men run on different hormonal cycles is going to change everything, because you're probably tired of following the same nutrition patterns, following the same exercises, following the same health lifestyle as this male coach on the internet, and you're just not getting the results that you want. Well, guess what? It's because you run on a different hormonal cycle than men, and so your body has different needs throughout different phases of the month. Enter the menstrual cycle, and there are different lifestyle factors like amount of stress, exercise, diet, sleep, nervous system regulation, etc., that will influence and will affect the length of your cycle. So if you are anywhere from 28 to 34 days, you are healthy. Don't worry about that. But 28 days is like the ideal length of a cycle. If your cycle is longer than 34 days, then something is definitely up. If you're having a very long luteal phase and you're not getting your period, something is up, and you should get that checked out. Now, obviously, a very, 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 very long, luteal phase either means that you're pregnant, and if you know that you're not pregnant, then you're probably not getting your period. And if you're not getting your period, then you're probably not ovulating. And this happens a lot with ladies with PCOS. So if you do have these conditions and you are interested in finally reversing your PCOS naturally, DM me the word reverse and I will chat with you about your next steps, because in case you didn't know, PCOS is definitely reversible. Now, the menstrual cycle is divided into 4 phases. We have menstruation, which is your period. There is follicular. Then we have ovulation day. So it's not really a phase, but it is counted because it's important. And then we have the luteal phase. Menstruation occurs roughly around days 1 to 5 of your cycle. The length of this phase could be anywhere from 5 to 7 days. That's going to depend on your body. But during this phase, we tend to feel more restful, more gentle, more reflective. And it's important that you understand that all hormone levels are low during this phase, so it's a great time to work out. But if you have extreme pain and you have horrible cramps, it is part of imbalanced hormones. So you're not supposed to be feeling horrible painful cramps, but if that's the case for you, then something is up. Then we move on to follicular phase, which is right after the menstruation phase, and this one goes from days 6 to 13, so roughly anywhere from 7 to 10 days in length. During this phase, estrogen will have been rising, preparing your body to ovulate. And it's important that you understand that during this phase, you will tend to feel more productive, more energetic, and more resilient to stress. Then we move on to ovulation. So ovulation should occur anywhere from day 14. For some women, it occurs in maybe like day 15, day 17, but it should be 2 weeks before your period. So even if your cycle is a little bit delayed, know that ovulation typically occurs in a healthy cycle 2 weeks before your period. Ovulation is when you have a spike in testosterone, the sex hormone in women. During this day, you are fertile. So you have one egg that you have, released, and either it fertilizes or doesn't. During ovulation, you will feel the most confident and the most sexy, the most vibrant. And let me tell you, it shows, okay? You tend to feel more confident, more energetic during ovulation. It's important that you know that you only ovulate once. However, you can be fertile 5 to 6 days before and also including ovulation. It's important to know that this happens because the sperm can live inside the body for 5 days roughly. So that's why you're fertile leading up to ovulation and the day of ovulation. And you can know when you're most fertile by tracking your basal body temperature or just like naturally tracking your cycle. If you are, struggling with infertility, I truly from the bottom of my heart, I understand. I have family close by that does struggle with that as well. And I think that the best thing that we as Christian women can do is trust God with our fertility. The luteal phase is the time where you will prepare your body for that possible baby. The luteal phase is from days 15 to 28, and it's roughly 10 to 14 days long. Now, during the luteal phase is when we tend to feel PMS, irritation, mood swings, cramps leading up to our period if we are low in progesterone. So it's important that you know that PMS and painful cramps and all these mood swings and things like that are a sign of a hormonal imbalance, especially low progesterone. Also important to know that if you are getting pregnant, right, if you were able to conceive and you have low levels of progesterone, it can lead to difficulty carrying that baby through the first trimester, because during the first trimester, mommy, right, the mom has to have high levels of progesterone so that she can carry on her baby, towards the rest of the pregnancy. During luteal phase, you tend to start feeling more inward, more emotional, more thoughtful. Many women get sad easily, or they, feel, nostalgic. So it's totally normal to lean into your body during this time. Lean into your emotions, but don't let your emotions take control of you, okay? Don't be that woman that says, oh, like I am, PMSing, so let me be. No, like take control of your emotions. Don't let your emotions dictate, how you react to others. But do understand that the reason why you feel the way that you do is because you are you're in your luteal phase. Now we're going to move on to hormones and kind of understanding how these hormones work, what their purpose is, and how they are, moving and fluctuating throughout the cycle. So women have 7 hormones that are actually part of their whole cycle. Like they're just part of us as women. But we have 3 main ones that are like the stars of the show in the menstrual cycle. So I'm going to name the 7 ones, and then I'm going to concentrate on the superstars of the menstrual cycle. So we have estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, HCG, and this one's only for pregnant women, follicle stimulating hormone, the luteinizing hormone, and DHEA. So estrogen is the star that first half of the menstrual cycle. It prepares the body for ovulation. According to the Society for Endocrinology, if you become pregnant, estrogen helps with the development of the placenta, breast tissue, and fetus. Estrogen levels are highest during the first half of your menstrual cycle. Right after ovulation, as estrogen starts decreasing. When you have estrogen dominance, that is when you will experience PMS symptoms and all these things, because progesterone is low when it should be high. Let's move on to the second hormone, which is progesterone. The second superstar of the show is there to thicken the lining of the uterus, essentially preparing the body for a possible conception. Now, progesterone levels are highest during that second half of the menstrual cycle, or right after ovulation. And in case that you do conceive, right, or that the egg is fertilized, progesterone helps the development of the placenta. And so that's why progesterone is so important during that first trimester, because lack of progesterone or low levels of progesterone can contribute to early miscarriages. If you don't conceive, then progesterone levels, they're high, but then they will start lowering as you approach your period. And so that is why progesterone, when it is high, we don't experience painful periods, but when it is low, you're going to experience PMS, cramps, all that jazz that we do not want this year. Now, moving on to testosterone. The importance of testosterone is that it is your sex hormone. Now, obviously, men are the ones that have the most testosterone, but women do have a dose, or as I like to call it, they do have a dose of testosterone, and it is what contributes to our sex drive. So testosterone peaks when we are ovulating. The deal with testosterone is that when it is in excess, it can definitely cause women to have male attributes or masculine characteristics such as excessive hair growth, deep voices, etc. Excessive levels of testosterone is actually a characteristic or a symptom of polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. According to the Endocrine Society, it's not actually known if high levels of testosterone cause PCOS, but it is known that high levels of testosterone are a symptom or a byproduct of PCOS. And I want to touch a little bit about the luteinizing hormone because this is the one that triggers ovulation. So about 24 to 36 hours before ovulation, the luteinizing hormone has kind of rise a little bit, which is what triggers ovulation. So that's how to understand your menstrual cycle. Knowing that some hormones are higher when they should be low is going to help you understand what steps to take in order to balance those hormones and enjoy pain-free periods. So if you did like this video, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.